Protein is an essential part of our diet. We need protein to live. They make our antibodies, our skin, our hair. They help children grow and develop. They keep our muscles strong. So really, proteins are part of every cell in our body. There are two classifications if you think of it from like a nutrition science point of view of proteins, and we call them complete proteins versus incomplete proteins. So a complete protein is going to have all those essential amino acids. So those protein sources are usually coming from animal-based sources. Incomplete proteins tend to be more of our plant-based proteins. So that means they're missing one or more of those essential amino acids that our body needs from our diet. The beauty of it is, though, one is not better than the other. With incomplete proteins, you can match them up, so put them together so they become complementary. So things like beans are missing one amino acid, rice is missing another amino acid, but when you put them together, you have a complete protein source. I personally think one of the things the dietary guidelines does not do well is talk about different sources of protein and what they mean. So they don't really address the fact that a lot of plant proteins are lacking in one or more essential amino acids. They don't talk about like lean sources of protein versus like the fattier sources of protein, and that not all proteins are created equal. We recommend, or science kind of demonstrates, that around 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal is a good benchmark. So our research actually focuses on the impact of protein on metabolism and appetite through the life cycle. So our earlier research, when we first started the Center for Human Nutrition, we did a lot of work with breakfast intake in children. Foods geared towards children for breakfast tend to be really high in simple carbohydrates or highly processed. And we wanted to know, if we give children a higher protein breakfast, how does that impact their food intake later in the day, some of their blood values, things like that. In children who were metabolically healthy, it didn't matter if they ate a carb breakfast or a protein-based breakfast. Their body handled this challenge, this meal challenge, and they didn't have a change in food intake, metabolism, anything like that. But then when we challenged kids with overweight or obesity with the same high protein breakfast or high carbohydrate breakfast, we saw a huge difference in how they responded metabolically. So kids who consumed the higher protein breakfast stayed fuller longer. They had less desire to eat snacks. Their blood sugars were lower after eating the meal, and we saw they were actually burning more calories. They tended to be burning more calories in response to this higher protein breakfast than compared to the high carbohydrate breakfast. And that data has been shown in adults.